Hey, everybody. Apologies to our European friends for the lateness of the start time. It was not my intention to start this late, but it's I'm a dad and kids happen. And right now I've got kids in multiple locations, and so mom and I had to divide and conquer. There was only so many places we could be, and I had to get my son to robotics, my son Eli. So unfortunately, we had to push back the start time a little bit to accommodate for me being able to drop him off at robotics. And that'll also limit how long we can go because I'll have to pick him up here in about an hour and 40 minutes. So, hey, John, how's it going? It was great to finally meet you. I hope everybody's doing well. Gonna just spend a little bit of time talking about the weekend. It was an amazing weekend. Got to meet a lot of people, famous and not, and got to feel like a little bit of a rock star because even though I'm really not anything special, being at a place like Gettysburg on the anniversary, I got to feel a little bit like a rock star for a day or two, so that was a lot of fun. Hey, Sandra, what's going on? So I just want to tell you a little bit about the weekend, what we did, maybe talk about some upcoming stuff, answer some questions, and we'll play a little Geoguessr in the meantime. Yeah, so let's talk about those forums. I think probably a lot of you saw this one, which was me and JD from the History Underground, and then Gary and Chris from the American Battlefield Trust. Megan, it was great to meet you as well. So this was fantastic. And first of all, again, I got to kind of tip my hat to Tony. If you're going to start that, man, you're going to get blocked really quick. Please don't start doing that. So there were a lot of people in Gettysburg. It really honestly wasn't as busy as I thought it would be for the 160th, though. Like, it wasn't to the point where you couldn't park anywhere and you couldn't get anywhere. Like, it wasn't that bad. It was really far less busy than I expected it to be. John, yes, definitely going to make that happen, Monmouth. Monmouth Battlefield's definitely going to happen. So this was, as far as I'm aware, this was kind of JD's brainchild. He threw this idea at me like, I don't know, 5 or 6 months ago. And we originally talked about doing one. It ended up kind of becoming two. This first one being at the Adams County Historical Society, which is this brand new building with this brand new museum, which is absolutely phenomenal, and you have to check it out if you're ever in Gettysburg. And it was hosted by Andrew Dalton, who's the director of that museum. And let me tell you, JD and I were talking about this afterwards, and we both agreed that Andrew is really, really good at what he does. He directs that museum. He sets up all these events with some incredible people, and then some people like me. But he does such a great job with it. And Gary kind of took the lead with this event. And I saw him 2 days before this when we first got into town. And he kind of talked me through a little bit of what he was thinking. And then we had like an hour or so beforehand that we were back kind of like in a green room area where we had dinner and just kind of sat around and talked about what we were going to do. And I thought the reason that we've had so many great comments about this event and how fun it was and how smoothly it went in large part is because of Gary taking leadership of that. And he did such a great job keeping it moving, keeping it interesting. And I think, as I mentioned to several people, I think one of the things that I think hopefully came across in this event was how much the four of us, because listen, we've all met before, we've all spent time together before, we've been around each other enough, and we are all familiar enough with people, with one another's channels. I think we all genuinely really like each other and really respect each other, and I think hopefully that came across. That was the case. So it was great. It was fantastic. We had a lot of fun doing it. Just probably spent an hour or so afterward just meeting people, and that was great too. Hopefully none of you had to wait too long for that. So I think it did kind of come across that way. Landmines weren't really much of a thing in the Civil War. So no, I don't think there are live landmines buried in Civil War battlefields. Yes, Mark, they had that much later than 1973 because I saw the electric map as a teenager. So it was there at least in the early 90s. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, and like I said, really just I thought really well done and well hosted. Chris, yes, it was good to see you there as well. Got to meet a lot of people that I've only met through the channel so far. Beth, you too. A bunch of people came up and like, there were people that we were familiar with through Instagram, through YouTube, and to meet you face to face was so really cool. And then we also had another event the second night, which many of you may not have seen because this one was not streamed on all the channels. This one only got streamed on the Addressing Gettysburg channel, but this one was a little more laid back, kind of fly by the seat of your pants thing with me and JD and then Matt from Addressing Gettysburg. But again, it was a lot of fun. We got the audience involved. We were asking questions of the audience. So it was really cool. It was very enjoyable. If you haven't seen that one yet, just go to the Addressing Gettysburg YouTube channel. I posted a link to it a couple days ago in the community. Let you see it there. So it's about an hour and a half long. So you can check that one out on there as well. It was a lot of fun. I already did Ozai, no problem. He gets on every stream and does the exact same thing and just does it with a new account every single time. Is the electric map still there, John? Is it like somewhere that people can actually see it? Because I remember it was really cool. So the second panel was different, but it was still fun. It was just a very different feel and, a different group of people and kind of talking about different things. So Beth, yeah, the audio, the setup there at the second event, we were using Addressing Gettysburg stuff. Obviously, they don't have the level of tech that they had over at the other museums, so they didn't have like the 3-camera setup and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's not quite as polished as the other one, but not a lot we can do about that. And again, I can't complain. It wasn't my stuff. I didn't set it up, so we just go with the flow, and it's in Hanover now. Okay, very cool. So as far as my time that was spent there, I didn't make any long form videos just because I knew there'd be too many people around. And my son Eli was with me, and he was kind of making a game out of counting how many times I got recognized by people. And he lost track after a while because, so we knew it was really an event that we were there just to kind of hang out and get to know people and just enjoy the weekend and enjoy the events. And we went to a couple of other events that I wasn't a part of. Eric Dorr did one with Tim Smith, kind of doing a presentation on the Peffer family, which was really cool. And then, of course, the last thing we did before we drove home was we got to go to an event with Stephen Lang, who many of you know played Pickett in Gettysburg, played Stonewall Jackson in Gods and Generals, plays the Colonel, kind of the main antagonist in Avatar. And that was really cool. And he was a super nice guy and really funny. I didn't get to spend any time with him one-on-one, but I know JD did. And that he'll probably be posting some stuff at some point. So yeah, it was great meeting everybody. Got to try VAT69. If you didn't see those videos, I'll probably post them here on YouTube at some point. But got to try VAT69, made famous by Captain Nixon in Band of Brothers, and that was pretty intense. That was really cool. So I'll probably post those videos at some point. But where can you put video suggestions, Dan the Man? Anywhere anyone. You comment on videos. I read every comment on every video. I don't respond to every comment, but I do read them all. And I keep a kind of a running list of interesting suggestions that people make to me. So if you make a suggestion, I will see it. If you post a link, it'll initially get blocked, so it won't show up in the comments, but I have to go in and approve those, just it prevents spam. But I do still see those, and it just may take a day or two if you post a comment with a link. Don't be alarmed if it doesn't show up right away, because I have to go in and manually approve any comments with links. So JD the King. VAT69 is a scotch. It's an 80 proof scotch. This is not Baja Blast. It's Mountain Dew Zero. It just might look a little funny on the screen because of my green screen. So anyway, I want to talk to you though about some ideas of future content I will be doing at Gettysburg when I go back. One thing they're doing in October, and unfortunately I won't be able to be a part of this, is they're doing a big 30th anniversary of the movie event in Gettysburg, and that's going to involve several of the actors. Pretty sure that Stephen Lang and Tom Berenger are both going to be there for sure, and they're hoping to get Martin Sheen for that and some others. And I was talking to Andrew from the museum, and he wanted to set up interviews for me to sit down with these guys. Like, how amazing would it be to sit down with Stephen Lang and Martin Sheen and Tom Berenger and do interviews for the channel? But it's the weekend that I'm away in Austria for our Germany and Austria tour that we're doing together. So unfortunately, I can't be there for that. So I'm really bummed about that. But so it goes. Can't be everywhere at once, unfortunately. But I did see, speaking of JD, History Underground, that the Adams County Historical Society and the museum just posted a little video that he did, kind of an interview with JD, so check that out. Oh, yeah, Jeff Daniels would be awesome, but I think he's probably a little big, probably a little too big to come to something like that, but you never know. So anyway, also though, Andrew did also tell me that he's got a friend who owns some private property on the Gettysburg battlefield where one of the Confederate hospitals was. And my son Eli and I are going to go back sometime this fall, and we're going to do some metal detecting on the property with Andrew. And I will definitely be filming that for the channel. So, and when I go back, I've got a couple different ideas for some videos that I want to do. I definitely want to do some videos at the wheat field. Last couple of days I've been doing a lot of studying on the wheat field because the wheat field's always been to me one of the most confusing parts of the battlefield because there's so much that happened there in such a small area and the different directions that units were attacking from, and there were parts of 3 different Union Corps who fought there. But I think I have a much better understanding of how it all went down now, so I want to go back there and try to explain all that. I also want to do some videos at Culp's Hill. Thank you, Zach. Appreciate that. What state are you from? Time to take a shot, chat. Northeast Ohio, baby. Northeast Ohio. Mark, he knows that. He just wanted to get me to say it, that's all. Zach definitely knows I'm from Ohio because he gives me a hard time about how his team, the Houston Astros, are better than my team, the Guardians. But I've also got this really outlandish idea for a series I want to do that would partially be shot here in my home studio, but also would involve shooting clips on the battlefield as well. I want to do an entire video series in which I do separate videos about every brigade at the Battle of Gettysburg. I believe there were 54 brigades on the Union side that fought at Gettysburg, and I don't know, 30 or something on the Confederate side. So it would be close to 100 videos. They wouldn't be long, but just a real quick overview of some biographical information about the brigade commander, where they fit in the order of battle, who commanded each of the regiments, and then talking about what each regiment did in the battle and showing those spots. Because pretty much every regiment that was at Gettysburg has a monument and has a couple of flank markers that show their left flank and right flank at some point in the battle where they were. So the question would be, do I create a separate channel that is just for those videos and just have it be a completely separate thing that's like the Brigades of Gettysburg as a channel and just do those 100 videos or so and put them up there? Or do I do it as part of this channel? I have to figure that all out. And it would involve a ton of research and a lot of time. So that's kind of a down the road, maybe next year kind of thing, or maybe something I would do in small chunks, maybe do a corps at a time kind of thing. So that kind of thing. Would I ever consider playing games with some other history YouTubers? Yes. And actually, I was just talking to somebody about doing some tabletop wargaming and making a couple of videos on that. Puka, it was President Nixon's great-grandfather who was killed at Gettysburg. George Nixon was, I can actually show you exactly where that happened, because he actually was mortally wounded almost right where he's buried. So he's buried in the National Cemetery right here, and he was mortally wounded literally like 100 yards from there, like right over in here around where Friendly's is. Kind of right in that area is where he was mortally wounded. And the guy who rescued him, Richard Enderlin, actually received the Medal of Honor for his actions in going out into no man's land and rescuing his mortally wounded friend from the battlefield. Steve, it would be a lot of work, but it would be kind of a labor of love. And honestly, it wouldn't be as much work as one might think if I break it up into little chunks like that, right? So I could probably, the hard part would be going to the battlefield and getting all the filming done. The research itself wouldn't take a lot, just to kind of do a quick overview. I have a pretty good idea of where most of these brigades fought anyway. And some of them are pretty easy to knock off all at once, like Caldwell's division in the 2nd Corps. That's Cross, Kelly, Zook, and Brooke. In fact, I think Caldwell's division might be one of the only Union brigades or divisions that had 4 brigades. Most of them had 2 or 3. But they all fought on the southern end of the wheat field. So that one's fairly easy to do, because you just kind of come right down here. It's hard to tell from this area here where we're talking here. There we go. I'm trying to get my bearings here. So here's Little Round Top right there. So this would be the wheat field right up here, right in here. So Caldwell's division's right here. So it's just a matter of going in there and shooting all the video in this area right here, and Caldwell's division's done. That kind of thing. They tried to put a Walmart, I think, in around the battlefield somewhere, but Walmart's out here, kind of not on the battlefield. It's out northeast of town. So I think Walmart's right in here somewhere. Yeah, I would definitely do some stuff on the Gettysburg civilians. There's some great stories to be told about the Gettysburg civilians, for sure. Gettysburg 160 was fantastic. Had a ton of fun doing that, for sure. Hood's Rangers? Do you mean Hood's Texas? Hood's division on the Confederate side? The Texas Brigade, which used to be commanded by Hood. The Texas Brigade, which was Hood's division, fought down here on the southern end of the field. They fought on July 2nd, right in kind of this general. Bushman Farm right here is where Hood was wounded. So the Texas Brigade was fighting right in this area here. What was my favorite part of Gettysburg 160? My favorite part actually was that forum we did at the museum. That was so much fun. Me, JD, Gary, and Chris. A lot of fun. That was my favorite part, I think, just to get to be a part of that. But honestly, it was just kind of hanging out and meeting people and not having an agenda as far as, like, I didn't have any videos to make. I didn't have, like, because normally when I go to these places, I'm thinking about work. I'm thinking about what I've got to get done. I got to just go there and enjoy it kind of like a tourist, so that was a lot of fun. Yes, actually, History with Snape. It's funny you mentioned that, because I recorded a Crusader Kings 3 video yesterday, so that'll be coming really soon. Fun Hub, thank you for calling it a beard. I guess you probably can use that term loosely. But I am trying to grow the facial hair a little bit. I wish Sabaton would do a song on the Battle of Gettysburg. I submitted on their website a request for them to do something about the 1st Minnesota, but it hasn't happened yet. So, Maryland, yeah, there were some Maryland units primarily over at Culp's Hill, so right over in this area here. There was actually some Maryland on Maryland action that happened between Maryland units on both sides. Peach Fuzz, yeah, that's about it. Yeah, so a lot of fun. We can keep up with the questions, but let's play a little Geoguessr, shall we? We're going to do a city skylines Geoguessr before we get into some of the history stuff. So I'll share the link here for you. Aren't Sabaton only about Swedish history? No, actually, most of their songs are not Swedish history. They got a lot of American history stuff. They've got a lot of different things. Thank you, Isaac. Appreciate that. Yeah, so this first one's going to be City Skylines. It'll be something a little different, but yeah, Professor What, that's my problem too. It's like this area right here I can't grow, and even the rest of the beard part just doesn't come in very thick, and most of it's white. So the mustache looks much darker than everything else because the mustache still comes in pretty black, and the rest is all white. So I think I've got it set to like 50 seconds for the timer or something like that. Is Cold Harbor the most emotionally heavy battlefield I have visited? The most emotional experience I've had on a battlefield, probably in the U.S., was probably Cold Harbor. There was something that just felt very oppressively sad standing in, and most of the Cold Harbor battlefield is not preserved, unfortunately, but a little bit of the area around where that disastrous June 3rd attack took place is. And yeah, it was one of those places you could just really kind of feel the weight of what happened because it was such a short distance between the trenches there where that attack happened. But no, overall, the heaviest battlefield I've ever visited would have to be Verdun. That was brutal. That was a brutal place because unlike the Somme has its very sad moments for me, but the Somme largely is very kind of pastoral farmland. It's very beautiful. Verdun still looks like a really sad place because so much of it has been left untouched since the battles that were there 100 years ago. So yeah. I have not been to the Bloody Angle at Spotsylvania. That just reminds me how many battlefields I still have to get to, especially in the Richmond area. I want to get to the crater for sure. Verdun's the site of the ossuary, yes. And speaking of, hey, Michael, how you doing, man? It was great to meet you as well. I definitely need to get up in the cupola. So speaking of Verdun, and I don't know if Sanders still here. I think he had to duck out because it's like after midnight for him. But was actually just on a Zoom earlier with some friends talking about an upcoming Verdun trip. So more to come about that. But Verdun and a good deep dive into Meuse-Argonne because I haven't done a lot of content about the American involvement in World War I. So I want to do that. If I had the chance to experience a live event from history, what would I choose? I think I'd like to be present for the Gettysburg Address and hear exactly how Lincoln delivered that speech. So yeah. All right, let's go ahead and start this. And we'll do some more. What European battlefield do I want to visit the most that I haven't been to yet? I actually think I know where this is. Oh my gosh, this is funny. Yeah, I'm almost positive I know where this is. Yeah, I do. I gotta wait until the timer goes down a little bit so I don't give it away. But Mark, if you scroll up, there's a link to go right to it. A battlefield I haven't been to yet, Waterloo. But I'm hoping to get there next time I'm in Belgium. I keep saying that and then I don't do it. Oh, darn it. I'm taking too long here. I don't know exactly where this is, but this is somewhere definitely in Indianapolis. All right, I was 1,600 yards away. Dara, thank you for that. I definitely want to get to Ireland. Ireland is super high on my list, and they've actually got direct flights from Cleveland, I think to Dublin. So it's going to happen. It'll definitely happen, hopefully sooner rather than later. A lot of great history in Ireland that I'd love to cover too. All right. Oh, this one's interesting. This one's definitely not the U.S. Oh. No, that can't be. No, it's too. It looks a lot like somewhere I've been, but I think it's not where I think it is. I think that might be Ireland. Initially, it looked like Portree on the Isle of Skye, but I'm going to go with something like Cove in Ireland. Used to be Queenstown. I am excited for both the Oppenheimer and Napoleon movies. Oh, it was the Faroe Islands. Okay. That makes sense of why it looks so much like Portree, which is up here in the Isle of Skye, which for some reason I can't find. Where the heck is Skye from here? It's over here. Yeah, Portree's right there. I have not been to Vienna, but I'm going to Vienna in October. Yeah, doing a tour in Vienna in October. That we actually have 2 open spots for. Thank you for reminding me of that. I'll mention something more about that in a minute after we're done with this. Okay. Wow, I don't recognize this at all. I don't know what I just did, but I lost the ability to move around. Oh. I think it's somewhere down here. I'm just going to guess. No, it was. I saw something about Barbados. It's Antwerp. So that threw me off when I saw something that said Barbados. Oh, that was brutal. Okay. Oh. JD would be good at this one, I think. Oh, maybe not. I thought at first it was Greece, but now I'm thinking it's Turkey. So as soon as we finish this up, I'll tell you a little bit more about the tours, because we've got a few open spots on the tours. All right, I'm going to go for something like, oh gosh, I don't know. I'm just going to go in here somewhere. It looks like a place with a lot of crime. I think JD's a little bit PTSD from that. Oh, I was very wrong. It was Tyre. So it was Roman ruins, but it was in Tyre. That's in Lebanon. All right, last one. I am not doing so well. I felt so good after Indianapolis. All right. That helps a little bit. I've got a guess or two on this one. St. Stephen's Cathedral, I don't know exactly where all I'm going yet. It's not one of the things on the tour, but I've got a lot of free time too, so. All right, I'm just going to make a guess. Part of me wants to say Iceland, but I'm thinking maybe more Norway. Let's guess like Bergen. But Iceland was my first guess. I don't know much about Albanian history, unfortunately. It was northern Norway. So somebody mentioned that. Somebody said the name of the town. Yep, there you go. Well, I got the country right on that one. How did I finish? 19th. Ooh, brutal. Okay, so hey, real quick, let me see if I can pull this up for you. I gotta log in. Okay, let me pull this up real quick and talk about it briefly. So many of you may have seen about this already, but 2 trips that are upcoming. And they're a little on the pricier side, so I get that they're not for everybody. Totally understand that. But we've got one coming up October 11th through 18th. Germany and Austria. We're going to be starting out in Munich. Then we are headed to, in fact, let me show you a little bit some of where we're going. And we're going to be doing some, actually, a bunch of us are arriving a day early. And so then on that 11th, which is the day that everybody arrives, if you're there early enough, like if you arrive in the morning on the 11th, we're going to go out to Dachau that day because that's not part of the tour, but we're going to go visit Dachau together. So you're certainly welcome. Several of us, we have a group email chain with all the people who are going on the trip where we've been introducing ourselves and talking. So it's been a lot of fun just kind of getting psyched, getting all excited for the trip. And are cheapskates allowed to join? Yeah, if you can pay for it. But yeah, John, if you're saying, can you show up to the locations where we're going to be? Absolutely. I don't have exact times and details, but I can basically tell you what days we'll be in what places. And you can certainly kind of come on your own, book your own everything, and just kind of tag along. You're absolutely welcome to do that. Puka, how do they figure out roommates? I'm not 100% sure on that, but I do know that they have a system for how they're doing that. I'm not involved in that part of it. But so the first day, the first planned event is we're all going to have dinner together, which is included. They'll include the cost of getting you from the airport to the hotel. All the hotels are included. All of our transportation's included. Our admission to the various things is included. Our tour guides are included. And I believe most of the breakfasts are included. So going to do a first day just kind of getting settled in at the hotel. Hold on, let me go back and kind of show you the rest of it. Breakfast at the hotel the next morning, a guided walking tour of Munich, Bavarian Parliament, Odenplatz. And basically, wherever I go, you are more than welcome to join me and go those places too. I'll kind of have a better idea once we get there of the places I'm going to go specifically, and you're certainly welcome to tag along. But we're going to be visiting a couple of the castles as well, and that's all included. Transportation's included for those. Then we're going to head down to Salzburg, and this is kind of cool. We're going to go up to Hitler's Eagle's Nest. And we're going to go to Berchtesgaden and stuff as well while we're there. But while we are there, those of you who are familiar with the tours that I've done with the guys from Band of Brothers, the We Happy Few 506 tours with guys like Matt Leach, who played Talbert, and some others, they are doing a tour in Austria that same weekend and they're going to be in Salzburg the same night we're in Salzburg. And they're going to be going to the Eagle's Nest the same day that we go to the Eagle's Nest, as long as the weather cooperates. So while we are on a separate tour as them, we will get to interact with them. So I'll get to introduce you to my friend Matt Leach from Band of Brothers, and anybody else that he may get. He usually gets a couple of the other actors from Band of Brothers for that as well. So they'll be there in Salzburg the same time we are. So we'll get to hang out with them in the evenings, because there's nothing planned in the evenings. We're going to go to do an orientation walk of Salzburg, Hohensalzburg Fortress visit. Then we're headed to Vienna, and we've got a couple of days in Vienna, Schönbrunn Palace. I've got some things I'm planning on doing while we're in Vienna, some of the places I want to go visit. I definitely want to go to the crypt where all of the Habsburgs are buried there. We're going to visit some of that stuff. And I'm going to be filming the whole thing. We're going to do a whole video series of the tour. So if you're on the tour, you'll be in the video unless you don't want to be. But everybody's going to get to know you as well, and we're going to include a lot of you in that. So that we currently have 2 spots available for that tour. And you have to put 25% down to book it. And then the rest is due, I think, in a couple of weeks, actually, because we're getting to the 90 days out from the tour. So that one's coming up. And then we're doing a second tour right now is in April. And that's in Italy. We're going to go to Rome, the Vatican, Florence, and then not included in the price, but at the end of that tour, you have to cover your own costs for it, but we're also going to go down to Pompeii, and we're going to go to Anzio. So we're going to be doing that as well, and I'll give some more details about that when we get a little closer. But I'm also working on trying to do some much less expensive trips, including something on the Western Front where we go to places like the Somme and Verdun and the Meuse-Argonne and Ypres and places like that. JD, it's funny you mentioned that about the Sound of Music, because the original tour itinerary in Salzburg included a day doing a Sound of Music tour. And it was actually that tour that I dropped to do the Eagle's Nest tour instead. So we replaced Sound of Music with the Eagle's Nest. Mr. Beep, Johnson's Island near Cedar Point was a Confederate POW camp. Yes, it was, as was Camp Chase in Columbus. So those are tours that are coming up. We'll probably do a few more next year, but we're working on the details for that. They really want me to book a Budapest and Prague tour. So I'm trying to get the details on that, because I know a lot of these tours you have to be 18 and older, and if I go to Hungary without my family, they will kill me. So I'm trying to find out if I can include my family in that tour. So Michael says payments are due on July 13th. So yeah, I think that's 90 days out. So the full payment for that one's due here in another week. But I believe you can still book all the way up until August 22nd. But yeah, after July 13th, you have to pay in full to book it. So like I said, I know it's expensive, but it's a very unique opportunity, and I've heard nothing but good things from other people who have done tours through this company. So we'll see. I haven't scheduled any more beyond the 2 that are currently scheduled until I do the first one. Once I have the experience with them, then we'll know about doing some more. And I'm trying to keep the costs down for those as much as I possibly can. But the first one, as much as it cost, it sold out in like 4 hours after it went live for everybody. So, yeah, I think it probably would be cheaper if you were doing it by yourself, but that's part of the cost of kind of doing everything together. So, I'll post the link again in a second for this. Scotland history with Snave is they have a Highlands tour that involves going to like Culloden and some other places. Definitely one I want to do. All right, let's do. All right, we're gonna do another Civil War map since we've been talking about the Civil War. U.S. Civil War battlefields one here. All right, let me post the link for you guys. I'm going to post it again so you don't have to scroll up. I also would like to do something here in the States where we tour like some of the Virginia battlefields, maybe go to Fredericksburg, Spotsylvania, Chancellorsville, Wilderness, Petersburg, some of those areas, and I would be your tour guide for that because I know those places really well. So, so I'm working on that. The thing is there, it's just figuring it all out and doing the logistics of it. Lind, no, it's a figure of speech. I'm saying my family would kill me if I went to Budapest and didn't take them along because my wife and kids are Hungarian and they really want to go to Hungary. All right, let's get started. U.S. Civil War battlefields. You're headed to England and Ireland in 3 weeks, Puka. Very cool. I hope you have an amazing time. We loved it there. Cannot wait to go back. All right, this is a U.S. Civil War battlefield, huh? Doesn't look like any battlefields I've been to. I kept hearing a sound in my house, and I think my son must have had YouTube videos playing in the living room, and I think that's why. All right, let's see. I'm trying to see what this sign says here. Savannah 10. Okay, yeah, I know right where that is. I was just there. So we're right by Grant's headquarters at the start of the Battle of Shiloh. So that's probably this bridge right here. Was Andersonville prison as bad as they say it was? It absolutely was. Jason, Little Bighorn, definitely coming sooner rather than later. I really want to get to the Little Bighorn battlefield. I was 97 yards away. I got the right map. Awesome. I really want to get to Little Bighorn for sure. All right, I think I know right where this one is. Oh, yeah, I know exactly where that one is. I'm not even going to move around. I know. I think I know the exact spot, but I definitely know this battlefield. It's a great battlefield, by the way. An Istanbul, Greece trip would be cool. History Dose, the channel History Dose, is through that same tour company doing a tour, and I believe his is Istanbul that he's doing. All right. Oh, I'm going to run out of time here, so let's get over to this one. This is definitely the Bull Run battlefield, and I believe specifically that's this intersection right here. Nice. I feel terrible about that one point that I'm missing here. Okay. All right, that helps. I think I might know where this is. Yep, I believe I do. But not 100% sure. But I have a guess on this one. I'm going to wait a minute. Have I heard of the SS Sachem? I have not. All right, I'm guessing that this is Ball's Bluff. But again, it might be this might be Manassas again, but I'm going to guess it's the Ball's Bluff battlefield area. So I'm going to guess right in here somewhere. Ball's Bluff was really early. It was one of the first battles of the war. Nah, it was Manassas again. I should have gone with my gut. That was Manassas. Drops me to third place. All right, Rob, take care. Ooh. All right, we're in the middle of a field now. I need some landmarks. I need something to tell me where we are. Okay, I know where that is. That's a battlefield I haven't been to yet, and I need to get there. I keep hearing really good things about this battlefield. Off the top of my head, I can't remember where it is. So it's going to take me a minute to locate it. I know it's in this general area. And it's a little sad that as a person whose family comes from Kentucky, I haven't been to this battlefield, nor do I know exactly where it is. Oh, darn it. This is not going to go well for me. It's Perryville. It's the Perryville battlefield. I'm just going to guess somewhere right here. I think it's further east. Yeah, it is. It's over here. Drops me to 4th. Meade was a fantastic general, Scottish mad lad, definitely. He's one of those guys that at every level he commanded, he did well. He was a good brigade commander. He was an excellent division commander. Didn't have a ton of corps command experience, but did well as a corps commander. All right, I think I know where this is. Let me get a look at these order of battle signs here if I can. It's not going to let me. All right. It just took me right off that hill, and now I can't get back up there. No! All right, let's get over to these signs then. I just need some kind of confirmation that I'm right about where this is. That doesn't help me at all. Oh, darn it. I don't have time. It was Chattanooga. Where was that? That's Missionary Ridge. It's one of the tiny little neighborhoods of Missionary Ridge that's preserved, because it's all like the city is all over there now. There's little tiny slivers of Missionary Ridge battlefield that they preserved. All right, I got 7th on that one. Missionary Ridge, boy, there's some really underrated Civil War battles there at Lookout Mountain and Missionary Ridge. It's where Hooker really gets back into the game again. The most western battle of the Civil War, probably Glorietta Pass, is the most western kind of decent-sized battle. VTH Grand Tactician. Is there more to that question, Mr. Willenshower? All right. Let's see here. Supposed to drink caffeine for the drinking camp. Lookout Mountain is cool. It's amazing view up there. Okay, let's do a Napoleonic Wars battlefield, which I will probably fail miserably at because I've never been to any of these places. But it'll be fun nonetheless. It all depends on what you define as a battle, right? I mean, some of these battles weren't really much of battles. Have any of my ancestors? Oh, yeah. A ton of my ancestors fought at these battles. I have one ancestor who was in the 20th Ohio. That's the one I'm writing a book about. They were at Shiloh, Vicksburg, Atlanta, Kennesaw Mountain. I had an ancestor who was with the Army of the Potomac all the way from the 7 days all the way to Appomattox. He was in the 4th Pennsylvania Cavalry, so he was pretty much at every battle they were at. Served as a courier for General McCall during the 7 Days campaign, and actually was given a message from General McCall to deliver to General Reynolds during the 7 days, and ended up almost getting captured, which is interesting because McCall and Reynolds were both captured during the 7 days as well. When will I be back in England? Nothing specifically in the works at the moment, but I'll get back there as soon as I can. Probably the next time I get back there will be when I go to see some football matches. All right, here we go. I will do terribly at these. Wow. Oh, wow. I'm getting Spain vibes from this one. Oh, yeah, it's Spain. So, what are we talking? Gosh. It's got to be like a lot of the Spanish battles were in kind of this part of Spain here. So, I really don't know. So, I'm just going to guess. This is definitely the Spanish campaigns, though. Adam. Oh, I love York. York's one of my favorite cities I've ever been in. Really, really enjoyed. We were only in York for a couple of nights, and we wish we had been there longer. Puka, I've been to the Carter House at Franklin, but it's been years. It's been a long time. It's probably been 10, 15 years since I was at Franklin. When in doubt, Tokyo. No, that was World War II. All right, so this was... there we go. So good guess, Kevin. You destroyed everyone in that one. Okay. Okay. Wow, not a clue on this one. Doesn't look like I can move around too much either. Maybe a little bit. I would not even know where to begin with this one. I'm trying to see some words or something so I can at least get a language out of this to narrow it down. Gosh, I'm just going to guess like somewhere in like Czechia. If I thought about moving to Europe and I got a wife and 3 kids, that's unlikely. Yeah, Steve, I'm definitely going to get to Towton. I got to do some Wars of the Roses stuff at some point for sure. I was Lithuania. Dang, I was way off. I haven't been to Hull. All right, we're looking from the sky here. I don't know. I'm getting Russia vibes on this one. Why are we in the sky? Yeah, no kidding. I'm getting Russia vibes. I think we're going to go with like... I don't think it's Borodino because Borodino battlefield's pretty well preserved still, but we'll go in that area. Andre, you're 99 and a veteran of the Battle of Berlin. Yeah, I definitely need to cover the Eastern Front of World War II. There's so many stories there. My main impediment to covering the Eastern Front is I just don't know enough about it. It's difficult to admit enjoying my content as a Wolverine. Fair, that's fair. Yeah, I need to learn more about the Eastern Front for sure. Oh, I was right. It was outside of Moscow. I was 107 miles away, but still, that pushed me all the way to second place. Poland and Lithuania were once part of the same country, yes. All right, this looks like it's Russian as well. I mean, so it could be anywhere. It could be Russia, it could be Ukraine, Belarus. Oh, it's Ukraine. Where is the question? Let's just guess somewhere around Kyiv. Is there a reason you can't do a super chat? I don't know, Frederick. Other people have, so you should be able to. It must be a problem on your end with settings or something. I don't know. Suhas, thank you. Appreciate that. Vlogging through Christery. It was Ukraine, but it wasn't Kyiv. It was over this way further. JD could probably pronounce that better than I could. I'm in second, though. That's like a small miracle. Dan Carlin's Ghost of the Ostfront. No, but his stuff's fantastic, and he was responding to some of my posts today on Twitter, which was kind of a fanboy moment for me. Frederick, thank you. Looks like you got it figured out. Because he and I were both taking on the people that have been sharing that thing that I posted about earlier, which I am going to make a video about. Wow. Somebody's backyard here. The thing everybody posts where they talk about the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence and all the hardships they went through, but unfortunately like 90% of it is either misleading or flat out false. I have no idea where this is, so we're going to guess Linz, Austria. So I was trying to refute some of that stuff on Twitter, and Dan Carlin jumped in and was refuting it as well. That one was in Czechia. Tell you what, a place I really want to go. What's the battlefield? There's a battlefield I really want to get to, and I can't remember. It's not Leipzig. Austerlitz. I want to get to the Austerlitz battlefield and do like a whole series there. Ultimate Admiral Dreadnought's development is about to end after they get to the 1.4 version to beta and then to the live branch. Interesting. Right now, I'm really waiting for the Whiskey and Lemons for Grand Tactician Civil War. That is going to be so much fun to play. Hooray! Oh, holy cow, I won? That was just because none of us knew where it was. Yes, Mr. Willenschauer, I did see Frederick the Great's super chat. We are doing Geoguessr. You've been to Bosworth, Detective Wobbuffet, I guess. Awesome. The place that they commemorate Bosworth Field is not exactly where it happened, but yeah. Leipzig is beautiful minus the shooting flames of factories. Interesting. All right, let's do one more. What can we do that would be interesting? I don't know if they have any War of the... I'm going to type in War of the Roses because I'm guessing if somebody created one, that's how they did it. Nope. Even though it should be Wars of the Roses. Let's see. All right, we'll do a UK one here since most of them aren't on anymore. UK, America, Ukraine. All right, we'll do UK towns and cities. This will be interesting. All right, I'll post the link one more time. And give everybody a minute to join it. All right, looks like the tour company cannot do kids on the tour, so I don't think we'll be doing Budapest anytime soon. Because I cannot go to that one in good conscience and not take my kids along. Yeah, Ralph, you're right. Gettysburg's definitely more commercialized than some of the other Civil War battlefields. Stories of the Founding Fathers, yeah, we could do that sometime. I haven't done a podcast lately. Unfortunately, there's a lot of work involved in doing the podcasts for very little return, honestly. So it's kind of been put on the back burner a little bit while I work on some other things. Where in the heck is this in the UK? We're like in some industrial park. Why would somebody even do this as something to guess for the UK? Man, at least show cities or something, make it interesting. I don't know where this random industrial park is. Sketchley Meadows, huh? All right, no clue. Bratislava? Not at the moment, but there's a lot of places I'd love to get to. I just guessed. I really have no idea. Actually, it wasn't a bad guess. It was the West Midlands. It was just a little east of Birmingham. All right. Not bad, not bad. Salem Witch Trials would be a good one to do, except there's just not a lot to show there. Basically, everything in Salem is all about witches and witchcraft and that whole end of things, so it's kind of a disappointing place to visit, really. All right, this is definitely like a train station, but I don't recognize specifically where it is. People in the UK might know because they'll see names because I don't know where this town is, Camborne. Oh, okay. Now I have a better idea. Also, that's where Taunton is. One of my favorite football manager players, Zealand, he's playing as Taunton Town right now on Football Manager. So I think we're somewhere in Cornwall, but I don't know where. Joshua, what part of Scotland are you in? Jacob, if you scroll up, there's a link, but we're kind of halfway through this one already. I was further down in Cornwall than where I was. Chardon. Ralph, very cool. My son's soccer team knocked Chardon out of the playoffs last year. We played in Chardon in a snowstorm and knocked them out of the playoffs in soccer. That was our first round game. All right. I don't recognize where this is. I need to find some kind of a landmark or a sign or something. By the way, can we just talk about how I love how the yield signs in the UK say give way. Give way. All right. I don't know phone codes well enough to kind of figure that one out. I did see Mason Mount went to United from, I have no idea where this is. We're just going to guess somewhere out here. From Chelsea. Chelsea kind of doing a sale. Oh, this was in Scotland. That was up in Edinburgh. Not a part of Edinburgh I've been to, so I definitely didn't recognize it. Now, this looks a little more rural now, which doesn't help me tremendously. Mount left. No, it's a full transfer. And Christian Pulisic's not going to be far behind. He's going to be headed to AC Milan. All right, let's see. I have no idea where this is. These are such random places. They're not even like main parts of the city or anything. Ah, gosh, I have no idea. Let's go with Ipswich. I don't know. Lind, I posted the link, but we're almost done with this round. So, actually, it wasn't a bad guess. It was the East. All right, do I see a stadium in the background? Nah, maybe not. Nah. History with Snave, thank you. I haven't watched the last several seasons of Outlander. I've got a while to get caught up on that. I'll probably do it before the next time I go to Scotland. All right, there's some signs here. This is going to help. And thank you, by the way, for the super chat. All right. Ugh. Well, it's got to be Wales. But where in Wales is the question. It's definitely Welsh. I need to get to Wales, too. I want to go to Wrexham and see a game. Learn Welsh. Give it a go. Oh, Bangor? Bangor's how they say it in Maine. I don't know how they say it in Wales. I think that's northern Wales, though. I'm just going to guess like right up here somewhere. It was, but not the part where I guessed. All right. Wasn't terrible. I got 8th place. Lind, yeah, we'll do one more, and I will put the link up. So, did I just see, for those of you who are football fans, I just saw, hold on a second, somebody's like trying to get into my Amazon and keeps having codes sent. That's not ideal. So I just saw that FIFA voted to change the offside rule to where instead of any part of the offensive player being past the defender is offside, to where your whole body has to be passed. If any part of you is not passed, then it's not offside. So I don't know. I think they're testing it out in some places. All right, let me double check this and make sure it's not somebody in my family trying to log into Amazon. Yeah, I think somebody's trying to hack my Amazon. Yeah, it would be a big change. It'd be a lot of goals, I think, if that happens. I hope they don't change the time from 90 minutes to 60 minutes. That would not be a good change, I don't think. FC Cincinnati is really playing well, but I think Columbus is going to give them a run for their money in the Eastern Conference. We're going to the game Saturday. My boys and I are going to the game against NYCFC on Saturday. Yes, Dusk Thunder, we are definitely planning on seeing some World Cup. At least one match when it's here in the U.S. in 2026. Ralph, I haven't really been following the Guardians too much this year so far. They've been really kind of not great. Going to Old Trafford in September. Very cool. All right, since we're doing all this talk about football, let's do a Premier League stadium. Oh, there's no E, is there, in Premier League? We'll do Premier League stadiums 22-23. All right, I know it's not exactly history, but hey, it'll be fun. All right, here's the link. JD is not a fan of what he calls communist kickball. That is exactly what he calls it, too. Oh, you're going to get to see Messi, Patrick. When I first heard the rumors he was coming, I looked at the schedule. But I knew that Columbus was hosting Miami early in the season, so Messi wouldn't be there yet, even if he did come. So I didn't bother getting those ones. I don't care one way or the other about the pitch clock in baseball. It never bothered me that the time that it took. But baseball, I'm less into baseball than I am into soccer and football. Football. Yeah, I think the U.S. will make the round of 16. They did this last time. So it's not this year, but in 3 years, yeah. All right, here we go. Oh, well, that makes it pretty easy. They're not in the Premier League anymore, and their owners live right down the street from me. Like, they're in the same town. The owners of Leeds United live in Canfield, we have a Canfield mailing address too. So, yeah, so Leeds United, their owners, they also own the San Francisco 49ers. So I don't know where the stadium is, though. Some of these stadiums, I know exactly where the stadiums are. This is not one of them. So I'm just going to guess. Gambling, I have not seen any of your super chats. No. I'm scrolling back up. I'm not a Steelers fan, Ralph. My wife is, though. All right, so it was a little further southwest, Elland Road. So that puts me 10th. Some of you guys are going to know these really well. Oh, I know this one without even seeing the rest of it. Oh, yeah. Yep, I know where that one is. You can see the colors. We're not going to talk about that one, even though I had a cousin who played for them. I'll just say it's in this area. We'll wait until we get a little closer. All right, Chocolate. Safe flight. It's talking about Ohio part of the drinking game? Yes, it is. And Patrick, yeah, you're right. This is Villa Park. So we're right up in this area. Because I know they're real close to West Brom. But I can't remember exactly where. Oh, here's Aston over here. So again, I don't know exactly where Villa Park is. Oh, there we go. As a Villa fan, this feels like cheating. Nice. All right. I'm up to 6 now. Not bad for a guy who's never been to any of these stadiums. Well, I shouldn't say any of them. I've been to Craven Cottage. Now this one's a little more unassuming. Got to try and see who the team is. Because I can't see in the stadium. Come on, give me something. This isn't Sheffield, is it? Oh, Crystal Palace. Okay. CPFC. So that's in London. But I can't remember where the Crystal Palace is in the west or north, isn't it? I don't remember. There's Tottenham. I feel like Palace was is near Tottenham, but I don't know. I'm guessing. Nah, it was south. Oh, it's way down there. I was way off on that one. Back to 11th. Oh, this is Liverpool. The Cop. All right, everybody knows what we're talking about here, so I believe that one's right up here in the north, isn't it? It's right by Everton. Because aren't Liverpool and... Oh, there's Prince Rupert's Tower, since we're talking about the English Civil War. Everton and Liverpool are like at opposite ends of the same park, aren't they? Yes, Operation Barbarossa is something I need to learn more about. Where the heck is this stadium? I can't remember. Oh, here we go. Infield. All right, I'm in 9th now. Don't think I'm going to climb too much higher. West Ham. I know where West Ham is. I'm going to wait a little bit to zoom in on that one. Crystal Palace's stadium is the one that stood in for Richmond FC? I don't think I knew that. I have not done a video about the Dirty Dozen, but I love those movies. All right, West Ham's in the east of London. I know that. But I don't remember exactly where. I'm just gonna guess right here. Hey Tanner, how's it going? I was a little further up there than I thought. I was a mile away. All right, I'll take 8th place. All right, guys, I got to check out here because I got to go pick my son up from robotics. Thank you all for joining. For those of you who gave in the super chat, much appreciated. And more to come. Take care, everybody.